Greetings everyone, and Great here of another Age of Empires 3 replay. Spawn on the left side is the blue Swedes. We have Lulian, Pasha. Spawn on the right side as the red Chinese. We have Hydrakone. Hydrakone. That's who he is. Well, either way, let's go and take a look at the natives on this map. We of course got the Berbers here. We do have the Berber camel riders, the Berber nomads, and another additional villagers which specialize in gathering natural resources, and a very salty camel. A salty camel, enraged from carrying heavy bags of salt through the desert, constructs a salt mine. A salt mine is a coin deposit that has 10,000 coin in it, but is limited to a number of villagers that can collect that to one point in time. I believe it's limited to was it 20 or 10? I think it was 20. 10 seems a little bit too small. But either way, there should be plenty of coin if you go for the salty camels. And of course, we do have the Sudanese allies, which do have the Sudanese Dervish, a Askari, and the Sinar Horseman. Let's see now. Do we see any deck selected just yet? Like we'll see a deck selected when... Oh, we do have deck selected here now. The deck... Let's go and go over the deck now. We do have, of course, the export being clicked on in. It is sends one console rickshaw and as well as 100 export. And also gives you a nice little supply of export through the entire game. Fox Rebellion town center attack increases, and regulars and sentries no longer lose hit points. So you can actually spawn them out whenever you want and don't have to worry about wasting them. Gold Juco News. We've got the Mandarin Duck Squad. It does give him access to the 8 Juco News and a flamethrower. Does not add any additional banner armies to him to play out. It would be interesting if some of these cars like this, it's okay, but it could make that bannered army be available from the barracks. That may be a little bit overpowered, but it'd be very interesting. For our Quang Pikemen, Step Riders, Flamethrower and Castle Rickshaw, Diplomatic Intrigue is 300 export, relation cost. Rat and Shields, Atonement, Outlaws, unit types, cost population, train Repentant Iron, Mercenary Troops, and Monster once you've reached the Fortress Age. Gold, Triangle Swordsman, Territorial Combat Army, Arquebus and Triangle attack and hit points increase, Repelling Volley, Super News and Arquebus do extra damage for light cavalry, shock infantry, and heavy infantry. Buying Army, ships 8 Step Riders and 8 Keshiks for both units. And also, if you look closely as well, it also enables discipline research, so that also saves some research there. So your 800 food probably pays for itself with the upgrade costs. Meteor Hammers, Hand Mortars, Intervention, High Manchu Cavalry Archers, and Higher Ingming Iron Troops. And for last line, old Dynasty reforms, make your trash units tougher but more expensive. Macho Combat, Wing, Pikemen, Shando, Keshiks, and Meteor Hammer attack and hit points. Western reforms, all hit points and damage increased by 8%. And Zonging, ship and number of iron troops significantly improves their range rate of fire. Interesting. And that should combo quite well, so he may not get this one to the next age. Getting some good critical hits there. The settlers still trying to run away, taking 1 damage per hit, or 3 damage per hit. Pathetically low amount, nothing too significant. You have a trope here, trying to cook up all of these resources. Very nice. So there's not any real threat. And now let's take a look at the Swedes cards. Swedes, blueberry bushes. Of course, now spawn blueberries, berry bushes. Your berry bushes present on the map also contains blueberry bushes, contains more food. And blueberries gathered by Torps faster. Placard. Villagers, wood, gold, bazaars, and infantry or hand combat. All heavy infantry in points increased by 10% or 15%. Leather cannons. We got the more tropes. Tropes gather coin 100% faster. And of course, we just got the Dominions deliver another trope wagons for them. Of course, become stronger, receive economic owns city shipments, and gather crates from crates faster. Can receive, so it becomes a economic shipment drop-off point. Got it. And the Vasa allies, Swedish skirmishers. Gold, infinite blackberries. These torp spawns a berry bush containing 100 food, so you can get a continuous trickle of food with that. Infinite. Student fire. Carolines inflict more damage with range attacks, especially heavy cav and shock infantry. Carolines, like gun cartridges, love the cannons train fast to upgrade to infantry guns, so get a free upgrade with the cost of not free. Falconuts. Snap lock. Carolines and have pronounced that range of line of sight increase. And contract Hessians. Give you some Hessians. Okay, you can stop with that mass clicking, buddy. Trample tactics. Hussars and that unit can't pronounce. Move faster, attack more quickly whilst using trample mode. And of course we got the factor wagon. Lulian process. Deliver 4 prospector wagons that can open 4 copper mines. Ship 2 prospector wagons after. It appears to be not infinite. Maybe it is infinite. I see the purple border. Carolines now resist range damage instead of melee damage. Carolina hit Grenadiers hit points increased. Looks like Red's Explorer is almost down. That covers each player's cards at the moment. We do have already a fast Fortress Age for the Chinese player who's eyeing the Summer Palace, which ships food when built on expands bannered armies, so free bannered armies. If you've got the Porcelain Tower, which just give you a trickle of resources. Over here, do of course have the stable here. We've got a good number of Carolines, which are Musketeer variant. Yes, Musketeer variant. Which their hand attack does less damage versus light infantry. Now we do have the Repentant Iron Troops now being deployed down out, which I believe are from the monastery. Sorry, hit my microphone. We've also got a bit of a mercenary force being deployed on out. Which he has a number of cards that can improve the... We know about this one here, but there's also later on upgrade that increases their... Reduces their... or increases their rate of fire by 20%, range increase... and all those just the different modes. So there is a card that increases their damage, also bring in some Step Riders and Keshiks as well as get the upgrades for them. This Explorer is trying to torch down some stuff, and now receive some archer fire from the Iron Troops. They do have a, let's see, they're classified as foot light infantry, even though their name is Iron, which they have 60% range damage resist, so that should be very effective versus those Carolines. In which the Carolines also do bonus damage versus heavy infantry, so they a little bit, nope, never mind. That's heavy cav, not heavy infantry. But either way, these Iron Troops have a very good amount of range damage. They do bonus versus heavy infantry, such as those Carolines, so they're going to be a good item versus them, though they do have less damage versus cavalry, which we see some being pulled on out. He does have a number of his own cavalry on the field that should be able to stop those hussars from moving around. Got the French consulate selected as well. And one shipment available for the Chinese. You could go with the export and then use that export to pull out something. Does get some of these villagers garrisoned on out. Let's see, hit the town bell. When the hussars do get driven, go down, the hussars are being driven away now. And looks like I got the Summer Palace Standard Army. First one's being pulled on the field. Oh, looks like maybe a pop cap. Which does give them this one Step Riders as well as Chuko News. Blind's Eye, Blue's Eye for some fortifications over here. Has a number of torps in the field, gathering some various resources. Wood gets collected the slowest, but food does get collected at a good rate, as well. Gold can be upgraded as well. Going forward now, the Iron Troop Mercenaries. Designed for heavy and iron troops. What's their population cost? The population cost is 2. Whoops, I hit my mouse poorly. They cost 200 gold, so a little bit expensive. Some salty camels can help you out with that. And they resist quite a bit of range attacks, so a good item to hit them with is probably the Hussar. So these Carolines will have trouble versus the Iron Troops, I foresee. And now we've got territorial armies being plotted on in. Designed for some arquebusiers as well as some swordsmen. The swordsmen should be useful versus the cavalry. And I do see the meteor hammers as well. 4 Iron Warriors being on the build queue. Town government as well. Who's right now is eyeing for some falconets, very nice. And eyeing for this heavy cav. Does not get the Eisenberg Ironworks just yet. How the berry bush is being collected? Still a good amount of food on them. Got this force now pushing its way forward. Some torps they can go and take on out. The Swedes invested heavily in the torps since there are also economic benefits. So the Swedes do find some trade posts up here. Falconets do fire from the high ground there, very good. He doesn't really have anything to stop them right now because he's on the high ground. Gains some damage onto the Iron Warriors, as well as the handful of Chuko News. And Resigned have just fallen back. He needs a anti-artillery piece. Let's get out some more meteor hammers and some iron flails. There's a settler right there, a little bit exposed, honestly. Ben Carolines has just been researched. And soon these dervish now being deployed up by the Swedes as well. Iron just gets a bit more force in the field. Some heavy cav getting hit. The falconets are very exposed now. The cavalry should just overrun those falconets. The only thing that can really pose a threat to his army. One falconet does go down. The rest of the forces need to start advancing forward. Both falconets do go down. So the Chinese army will do some good work now. Those frontline, the horse frontline starting to see some hits there. Keshiks do both versus heavy calves, so they're being used versus these hussars. The rest of the hussars are going down. Now the Iron Warriors will take up quite a bit of use in order to pick out more of the not heavy cav now advancing forward. And we've got the Baron Carolines just being pushed forward to go in the melee mode, but they get annihilated. Unlike other musketeers, they don't get bonus damage versus cavalry. They actually do better at range against heavy cav. Carolines being forced on back there. Good engagement by the Chinese. They doesn't advance any farther forward. Yeah, there's also naval treasures here. Oh yeah, that is a 20 wood for no protectors. This one's 6 a coin and 1 hippo. Got this shipment in the snap block, increasing the range of the Carolines by 3, which will make it so the range is now 15. The Iron Warriors, aren't they like 16 range? 16 range, yep. And it looks like the Chinese players are to bring in some mortars and more swordsmen and villagers. Right now, the Chinese players at 24 villagers, his opponent's at 37. The Chinese player may have been neglecting his villager count. Eyeing for some more swordsmen as well. So right now, the Chinese player took a good engagement there, but the economy is in rough shape. And you're going for that one-time... Oh no, this player does not have the one-time muster. Lazar's trying to advance on the flank. We'll find nothing up there at the moment. Their Mount Budget is a point deposit. Looks like a explorer has been ransomed. And once again, the Chinese player is not building any villagers at the moment. That is a lot of mortars. That may be too many mortars. We've got some more forces forward. The Hussars now engaging these villagers, and this village has troll villagers inside it, but nothing there to defend it. These warps can, of course, go on down. That wall goes down. Hussars could try to flank onto these mortars, but not enough for them to engage those mortars. We're going down. Got a good number of leather cannons. They're meant to hit infantry. They're not good versus they're okay against artillery. They don't do anything special to them. They will do 150 damage versus infantry, which these Iron Warriors have more than that health. Hydrakone knows will get one-shotted by them. Artillery foundry does go down there. Warps on going down. This will give the Chinese player a lot of veteran C. He's not building villagers properly still. He's taking a lot of damage. He's trying to buy his time. He's getting out Hessian Jaegers. The council goes down, maybe they'll push them in. Try to push them forward now. Leather cannons as well. We're gonna get the mortars don't close to his military force. The Hessian mercenaries just came on in. I suppose enough mortar hits onto these field guns, these leather cannons. We'll take them out. They get some good damage there. No, I actually was mistaken. Apparently they do decent enough damage with leather cannons. Just given so many of them. More Hussars from the field. The counter does stay alive. Counter does get picked off there. But the Chinese ground army will go down. They do, I think, less damage versus cavalry. Nope, their damage output is so low they do still further damage versus cavalry. More field guns out the corner field. Hussar now trying to hit these artillery pieces there. Chinese ground army is being cleaned up. The Iron Warriors are doing great damage. Iron troops. Now it's going to engage some melee. The Iron troops' melee attack is 16, but they don't gain damage resist there. All the cannons gone down. Most of the Chinese army has gone down as well, but his economy does not back up this situation. He's just relying on more deliveries now and more of the free units. About 23 villagers, which 2 of them idle. Can't really do a whole lot of damage, in my opinion, or a lot of economic benefits. While the Swedes does have some good economic capabilities, having a good number of villagers, and the Torps as well. So some of the Torps are some going down. I'm going out some more Sinar horsemen. They are incredibly expensive. Holy crap. 400 gold each, 4 copies each. Hopefully they are good. Squeeze out a couple more small horsemen. Yep, squeeze a couple out there. Here they are. He has a decent force down here. Sinar horseman has 1,000 health. They have 20% siege armor and 20% resist rain damage as well. So these hand mortars, they go from 5 damage down to 3 damage versus them, and they're 1,000 health to boot. Of course, we do have some disciplined spec riders who don't do bonus damage versus cavalry. So no horses can level ran. While their cannons trying to hit these various infantry forces there, picking them off slowly. Let's take out all the hand mortars there. Sinar horsemen are good enough numbers. They're taking out a lot of hits. And it looks like the Sinar horsemen will save him. If he gets out a church to heal them up, that may be worth it. So it looks like he's lost most of them now. And the Chinese are falling back to regroup, reinforce. So we do see a second town center now queued up by now, maybe by the Explorer. Yep. Chinese right now is eyeing for more forces on the field. He is not eyeing for any more eco. Another castle going on up. More Iron Warriors being trained up as well. It'll take a bit more gold. Luckily, he has a good amount of villagers on the gold. You can always get out some salty camels as well. There's some other research over here. Villagers gain more hit points. He could have got some Berber nomads to go along with him. Berber Sultanate, that could have been useful. Steady gold trickle. We have more wood stockpile, which could have been possibly useful. And enemy military units become slow when approaching vicinities of mills, estates, rice, and farms. Important there. How about Sudanese? Any unique research here that could have been useful? Cost less, build faster. All cavalry and shock infantry get additional armor against melee attacks. Red Sea Wagons construct most buildings. Improved can maybe research twice, it has been researched 0 times. Nothing too significant. We got a decent defense force here deployed out by the Chinese. Has a force of 46, including some young guard deployed up by the French. Over here, got 19 or 24 here, one in which a falconet. Chinese does have a decent force here. The Swedes are eyeing for the next age right now. The Chinese is getting out the intervention, which does send a shipment of more young grenadiers. But he does have a decent number of grenadiers. And the Chinese player is eyeing for more villagers now, has really been skipping on village production for a little bit too much. Swedes, however, had a nice delay. Lack of consider, and of course aging up. Now he's going immediately for the copper mine prospector, so he's eyeing perhaps to deploy them next to Torps. Honestly, he doesn't really need it. He could get on a salty camel. Torps work with salty camels. That villager will go down to the Steppe Raiders. And the Torp will go down soon enough. You have a fort wagon now being deployed on the field by the Swedes as well. And a nice, glory, muddy water. Is that from a wagon? I'm not sure where he got that. That may have been from aging up. Not sure what the Swedes get when aging up to industrial age. Arsenal's been built as well. And we also got a saloon down here. Provides a bit of a gold generation rather than oh yeah, it does provide a little bit of gold. I don't know why I was thinking it was going to be EXP like a mosque or a church. I am for the range cavalry Calacor, how to pronounce that. Castle's now been deployed on the field, or a fort, which he could deploy out some various units from as well. Save a bit of money on infrastructure. Also, Swedes are going to migrate down south. There's plenty of gold still back here. We've got the copper mine deployed up by the prospect wagon as well. Has some berry bushes. Some torps could be useful around it. Guard Caroline's been pulling field. We can have some factory wagons as well. Some heavy cannon, I would say, would be pretty useful, but most people just deploy it out for the gold. Swedes is a pop cap as well, so he needs to get some more torps.
Redo för eldgivning.
Chinese Explorer is at a full health, so if he picks him up, he will get a full health warrior. More arsenal research being researched. The Chinese players designed for villagers. More iron troops. And not eyeing for age up anytime soon. Another card could be brought on in. He's already got his gold crates in. So Chinese players eyeing for a bit of export. We may use that to torch relationships with the French, or he may be eyeing for some final deployment of something. There's one of the copper mines. And more torps have been pulled up there. Can't collect them from more than one berry bush at a time. What this means is actually berry bushes nearby. Do not have these guys push way forward. Falconets and light cannons now engaged in the front line as well. Transpire does have quite a bit of force here. It's nice choke points with artillery from both sides to do some good damage. And mortars are not going to be used for infantry. The swordsmen are not breaking through. They did force effective versus the cavalry. The Chinese forces are in very, very large numbers. The Carolines not being focused down. There's just too much force here for the Swedes to hold back. And now the weather cannon's going down as well. And the 8 of the 9 young guards are still alive as well. There's also a good amount of AoE coming out from them. Now he's trying to push over here, not realizing the Swede has already set up his infrastructure over here now. So if the Chinese player does not head down south, that's great for the Swede. He's probably more than willing to sacrifice stuff up here to not lose the game, but good number of his villagers now getting nailed. They could have gotten inside those walls earlier. Swedes are now at 44 villagers. Has not been maintaining his villager production anymore. And the Chinese up to 33. Has a decent amount of export in the store as well. Those trying to run away now. Do you have this falcon up for a few gun in the area? From the field gun will go down. The Chinese aren't still in good numbers, but also got the monkeys coming on in, getting a bit damage from some Reds units. The Carolines, however, slowly being whittled down there. The last of his forces go on down. Down to 7 young guard in the mix. The explorer will go down as well. He's going to start. Ooh, there's one of the Swedes' factories. I guess I really wish he had a production onto it. He's trying to get all some mill boosters as well. I think at this point in time he wished he had gone for heavy cannon. Because heavy cannon right there would have been very handy. So yeah, losing a factory like that is a big sting. I'm surprised nobody put on the assault camels yet. Falconets or field guns getting some good damage there, killing them firing away as well. Meteor hammers are trying to hit these field guns. One of them do go down as well. They do. Does this all those forces. Chinese arms taking out the rest of his infrastructure now. Swedes are down to 45 villagers. This Chinese still has 35. I got some Swiss pikemen being blown in from the saloon. trying to pull out any force there to hold back his opponent. Chinese player is pulling out some more Iron Warriors, getting some more Old Han armies, giving them pikemen and Shuko news, and hand mortars. And got a massive number of young guard now pulled on the field, which should be very effective for those Carolines, that's for sure. That'll bring up to 14 young guard. That should be very effective versus Carolines. The export shipments have been very useful for the Chinese at the moment. And now we do have another factory wagon being employed on out. And yeah, as I mentioned beforehand, he probably does need to get heavy cannon. Do now the Chinese advancing forward, able to trade some of these buildings for time. That villager will go down. There's a decent force of Carolines here. Falcon Net needs to start engaging. Some of those are getting some good hits there. One extra sword going down. I think 3 barracks is probably a little bit too much. More Falconets in the field queue. Eye for some more leather cannon or infantry guns now. Explorer does go down. Young Guard gains some great damage onto these forces there. Gains some massive AoE effects. Though he has lost the majority of them. More Falconets being put on the field. Now got the militia now being brought on in. Flamethrower engaged as well. Carolyn's starting to get disintegrated, but 3 Falconets can do some serious damage. Flamethrower does go down. Explorer does draw quite a bit of fire right there. And most of the Chinese force will go down thanks to the emergency reinforcements of these Falconets. He will hold. Does get another shipment available. We got another pair of prospector wagons. Huh, it is purple outline because it looks like it only be sent twice. So maybe it should be a red outline rather than a purple outlining. Got some rice farms being put in the field. More gold being collected, as well as some zebra. And now we do have more of the Old Han armies being pulled on out, as well as rice surplus, which I believe is the food mill collection. Got a kill there. He has gotten... No, wait. The Chinese player is not advanced to next age yet. Maybe the Chinese player should either get to next age and get perhaps maybe infinite flying crow production. Right now, 37 villagers versus opponents 52.
Is my step?
Chinese players doesn't have a whole lot of gold at the moment. He does not have access to Salty Camel yet either. The salted camel is actually pretty cheap. I keep putting emphasis on it. 200 wood to potentially get a stockpile of 10,000 gold. And he's using the rice paddies to collect up gold as well. Wouldn't the salty camel be better than that? Does it say you spend the 200 resources, say 200 wood on the trading post, along with 200 wood onto the camel? A single rice paddy costs is 400. So I think the salty camel would be better than the rice paddies. Am I mistaken about that? Either way, the game slowed down a little bit. Both players just eyeing the masks up for another fight. We'll probably see one massive fight. The Swedish player's trying to make his way forward. And Morris hitting the falconets. Of course, it's not a great unit in that case. Cavalry's quickly forward. Cavalry, the Sinar horsemen do get cleaned up. Pikemen advance forward, can quickly put them the Sinar horsemen. We also have some Swiss pikemen here. Mercenary pikemen. Gallons here, a good number. The Chinese force is just getting cleaned up. Our horsemen have been drawing a lot of fire there. Some of our horsemen are somehow still alive. One of them is literally at 1 health. Oh, does get picked off from, I think, the town center fire. More of reinforcements being drawn in, as well as another militia, irregulars. And also the Chinese player does back up the game. Very good game by both players. I think the Chinese player lost because he just didn't build enough villagers and no salted camels. It's Anna Gray saying thank you for watching and on to next replay.